Well, hello, beautiful artisans. So I have a lot to share with you today, but I first want to welcome you back. If you're coming back, thank you so much. And I love your suggestions and the fact that you're following me and getting some inspiration in doing these projects on your own. And if you're brand new to the channel, what we do is we look for ways to be super creative, maybe inspired by ancient art and methods, or maybe inspired by each other and or other YouTubers, and we'll give them shout outs. And but we focus mainly on being creative with our project, using recycled fabrics, materials, or supplies. And that's a way that we give our earth a little hug and not send all of these fabrics to the landfill. So there's so many different things that we can be doing with these fabrics. And even if it's when we're at the thrift shop, we find something that we know a neighbor or a friend could use, we could grab it and give it to them. So with that, what we're going to do today is I have all my fabrics pretty much laid out on what I'm going to use for the Boro inspired sashiko project. But first, I want to share something with you. As you know, we were doing sharing the, I was sharing with you the journal pages yesterday, just a little tidbits of what I'm doing. When I sit down and focus and get a whole bunch of hours in on those, I'll come back around and share those with you again. And they're like this. We shared these couple. I love this one. I got to be honest. So simple. Sometimes it's the simplicity. And this is just, I keep putting that poor bird upside down that way. So those are a few journal pages that I was sharing yesterday. Now, the other project I want to share with you quickly, just for inspiration, is the lip balm holders. So look, I ended up, I just want to show you, I may have shown you these on another video. So, or over on Patreon for sure. But what happens over on Patreon many times, they will get previews much earlier than, and then I'll come over here and drop the video I'm talking to with them about. So this is a lip balm holder, and this is a little bit bigger. This is like a little pocket. So if you had a longer lipstick, here I'll show you this one, so that it fits in. It will fit in, and then you'll have the top part to work with. So let's say your lipstick, some lipsticks are long, so you can kind of cover that up like that if you want to, like that. But so there's that one. Then I did this one, which I really, really like. And this is just for those who haven't seen them. And the edges are raw. So I left the edges raw and I just sewed. So this is a little bit, it's super simple, a little bit different. I like putting a little bow on the front, and I like having a clasp on it that you can put your keychains on, that you can clip it onto. So there's that. But the best one, and this was just super simple because, as you know, I'm a crocheter. So I made first a little holder like this, and then I said, well, let's see if the lip balm is fitting, and it fits. I like the top of the lip balm being so you could just pull it and it's a little bit snug in there. So I really love that. I love that. So that size I kind of went with. And then, so I made it a little bit tiny bigger, and I wanted to see, well, what about this? This is a little bit larger lip balm. It's a Vaseline. That fits in there okay. And it would fit in this one okay too. It really would, but it's out a little bit more. So then I came up with this, where I had gotten these little clips and I got the rings. And again, I put a little bow on the front, and there you have a little keychain. Now, this is what I got. And again, I got these at Walmart. and they're called large split rings. That's what's on here. And but I like the little bow especially, and I feel like I'm going to really dress up these little keychains. Now this was the only package. Okay, these are all falling out because look, these are called lanyard hooks. So what it means, these are very difficult to, if you're trying to open it right, it's just better to slip whatever it is. Like I was trying to open it and then hook it up onto the crochet, and then I figured out, okay, I just got to slip it on. And because these are very strong and will hold beautifully. So that's a nice little keychain. And so I think I like this and I like this. So you let me know what you think. And if you get any ideas, oh, I want to say, if I didn't say this already, I want to give a shout out and say, I'm going to put this in the content, say Crazy Little Projects is where I got my inspiration for these. So mine did not come out looking like hers, similar, but not as beautiful as hers. But I do like these, and these were a little easier for me to do. And I think I just simply used different hooks and I did a little bit different measure. So, but I do love this one. So anyway, so we'll get started with our all our fabrics. So yeah, I went to the thrift shop kind of looking for more silky. Now I just say silk, but I'm saying silky kind of a fabric. So they could be polyester, they could be rayon, they could be acrylic, um like that. So I did come up with the one I want to use for the base. Now, there were two choices for the base. We're just going to start with the base, just because it's a little easier right now uh, with all of the fabrics. And plus, I want to show you, I want to cut a few and I want to show you the sizes that I'm going to be using. And I first want to lay them out and show you the design. So, anyway, this is the base, it's a sheet. And it was a draw between this one and this beautiful, beautiful teal. This is too thin. It is pure cotton. It is vintage. It is lovely. And I think what I'm going to do with this is make a few small. Okay, this is something I want to share with you. I have noticed, this is just an observation. It is not based on statistics. There is no an absolute with this. But when I am at the art guild, I'm noticing the people are picking out for the pictures and whatnot. For the most part, they seem to be gravitating towards the smaller pictures, the smaller wall hangings and whatnot. And yes, there are some that totally, we have bigger ones there and they're gorgeous and people buy them. But that's what I'm noticing. And then I'm thinking to myself, um, this is clearly happening, right? We have more and more and more people living in smaller spaces because they lost their houses in 2009, such as I did. They get into a smaller space. The little extra things you have are in the storage unit, things like this. Um, so I want to make some smaller pieces. So this piece isn't going to be absolutely huge either. It's probably going to be between, like the one on the wall I have over there, 35 by 35. Maybe one side of it's 40. I don't know, but we'll see. Um, so we'll test out the measures, but I'm saying about 35 by 40, something like that. So this will be the base and I love it. So that will be a nice, easy sew. Now, I had picked this out, and I'm going to move these up here. I had picked this out And this is like a satiny. Now I don't know if it's satin, but it's a satiny kind of a fabric. So I will not be cutting anything unless I'm absolutely sure. But I did want to show you the sizes because I do have a few cut from previous, they're scraps. So this is all intact. So I'm just kind of leaving it like that right now. But I have this in the mix because it is kind of a silky, different kind of a texture, but I like the flow. So, now there is a different flow between the fat quarters cotton. Well, anyway, this cotton, let me put it this way. This is cotton and this is a lovely flow. So maybe this ends up as part of the piece and definitely not the base. This, this I think we read the other day, the label, this was a mix. So, but it's got cotton in it, but it's definitely a mix. So I gotta put those down there. So this one we're gonna leave up here to be part of our probably our design, but I love this. I actually want to make more of the junk journal cards with this too. So now when I talk about silky, yeah, unfortunately, I'm not talking about real silk. I'm talking about this might actually be, I don't think it is. I think this is a blend. But look, this is lovely. And this is old. I've had this for several years. It's time. This piece, it's just got to go. It's either got to go to the thrift shop or we're using it. Now, this is about the size. So let's move this and let's measure. This is about the size I will be using on the wall piece. And it will be a variance between this and maybe a little smaller. Now, you're probably saying, well, Carmella, that looks a little thin to me. It looks like when you put the needle in it, it's going to rip. Okay, so about 17 by let's say about 17 the other way too. So that's kind and so what I do with pieces like this is I may fold them in half or I may fold them under a few times. These may actually be folded. Now, as I'm saying that, I totally love the kind of torn and ragged or frayed edges too. And I could very well choose to leave part of it like that with a bunch of stitches, tiny little stitches in there. Fraying is intricate to the piece when you have raw edges, and it adds, in my opinion, to the aesthetic of the art piece. So this is an art piece. This is not like we are piecing together a traditional patchwork quilt. That is not this. This is an art piece. So this totally I am using. Now, this is a lot of times what I do. Now, I'm using this too. This is just lovely. So I'm using this too. And I'm going to lay these down next to each other for a moment. I just want to show you something, how I start assembling my stuff. So now look, this is another very silky piece. And remember, I want this all silky. You know, and I'm almost wondering because the piece I have on the wall, the sheet that I sewed everything on, it was a base, was kind of silky. And it kind of leaves the piece to flow and very light. So I may rethink my base because this base, the base is not silky. It's more closer to a fat quarter. I could do either or. Now, if I go with a silky base, actually, I'm going to show you something. this piece. I may decide, I'm going to, now the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to test out my stitching on the mixed cotton sheet that I showed you, the pink one, and this, because I love this. I love, love, love this. Now, this is silky and flowy. I was wearing this as a scarf for quite some time, but it's not too soft. So it could actually be a mix. It could be a mix blend too. But it's a lovely, and it's kind of got the silky flair to it. So we'll see. It's kind of cut on one side, but we'll see what I can get out of this. So this is strong enough, so it could be a base. So this might be the base. And look, we have the fringes. So I don't know what the story is, if they go all the way around. I love this. So this is going to go in my pile over here for bases. So anyway, this is definitely like acrylic or polyester, but it's interesting. I like it. It's a little bit different. So, and it's got a stamp on the side that this was from a fabric store. So it's a good size. There's a lot here. So I'm going to actually put that down here for a moment. Um, so then we have this. So this is nice and silky, and you've seen this piece before. So I want to put this here. And then we've got the blue. So this is super silky. It's not silk, but it's silky. And then I wish I had more of this. And while I'm working on this piece, I may take a trek over to a different thrift shop and see if they have a dress like this, because this is all acrylic. I'm sure this is acrylic or polyester. But I love the pattern, silky and soft. So I'm going to put that down. Now, I've got this sari that I would like to use. I think it's a beautiful coral. It's soft. So yeah. So let me put the camera down so you can see these blends next to each other. Now, I'm going to tell you right now. Yes, 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 yes. This one, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm going to put that to the side. And then I have another silky, which is the same as that over there. So that's lovely. Now let me just do one more thing. I want to bring this polka dot piece up. I'm going to put it over here for a moment. And I like the contrasts. Yeah, I'm envisioning these kind of cut out, laid down on the base. And that's going to be our next video, by the way. So if you want to come along with me on this, it doesn't have to be silky. I'm going with silky because that's what I want. I want to do. I want to use these up. So we will be laying these out when I can test out the bases a little bit between what's today? Today's Tuesday. So we'll be starting stitching tomorrow. And now the way I did that piece on the wall, and I'll show that to you tomorrow. We'll be sitting over there. I'll be sitting on the floor. We'll be sitting on the floor. I have started to clear space. I need just another day to clear. I need to move the couch up so we have a nice clear view with the camera. So, but yeah, get your, okay. So let's go back to the needle and thread, because I know what you're thinking. You're like, Carmella, the needle's going to go through that and it's going to put a hole in it and rip it. And it is. It is. if you use, now I've got tons of needles here. I have a sashiko needle in here. Now, if you use a needle like this is very big, and I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm going to put these over here for the moment. Now, many times as I'm working, it's not unusual, and I know this sounds weird to people, but the piece speaks. I don't want to say, but look, it chooses its design, maybe with the energy flow or whatnot, but it takes on a life of its own. There's just no two ways about it. And that might sound creepy to people. It does. But if you take a needle like this and you put it through, now you're going to see a hole in that. You see the hole? Yeah, you can see the hole because this is big. Okay. Now, when the material doesn't bounce back or close up, you know that needle is way too big. Now, I'm just kind of I'm healing it by doing that kind of. But I want a needle that's smaller. So this is smaller. So let's test this out. Not too bad. You can still, no, it's not too bad at all. Oh, I can't even find it. Okay, that's good. But this is a little bigger still than I anticipate. I'm looking for, yeah, this is even smaller. This is actually one of my sashiko needles. So let's try this one. Yeah, that's much, much, much better. Yeah, this is it. This is the needle I'm going to use. So I don't know about you, but I always take the needle I'm going to use for my next project and I put it over on the side horizontally because that's the one I want. So, now with that said, what about the thread? So this, I'm going to say to you, this thread is kind of thick. It just is. I can get away with it if I fold, and I'm kind of going through a few layers and I'm staying with a small needle because of this will thread through that smaller sashiko needle. Now I have a thinner thread right here. Is this still considered lacy crochet? Yes, it is. But it's a lighter weight, much lighter than this. Let's see if you can see. You might not be able to see on the camera. But this, yeah, you can see it. You can see this is thicker than this, okay? So I'm not using this. I'll be using this. And I have a few like this. I got them at the thrift shop. I'll be testing durability. Oh, yeah, that's strong. So we'll be using this, not this. So anyway, we will start tomorrow. And yes, so I figure my the sizes on that one were clearly easily from 17 by 17 to less. I did put smaller pieces in there. I went totally abstract. And that's what we're going to do this time too. I really wish I had more silky silks. But like I said, I might venture out before I even do the video tomorrow. I may go live on this. We will see. Sometimes I will think about it because when I go live, I sometimes lose my focus. And I kind of really want those of you who really want to do this, I want to be clear with you on what I'm doing. So, but that will be tomorrow, Wednesday. So with that, I hope that this helps get all your fabrics out. So with that said, what I'm going to do is lay these out. Let me just show you one more time. I'm going to lay one piece out And then I'm going to take another piece and lay that out and decide, do I want these next to each other? That's kind of how I'm going to do it. Um, I want to have that feel good about my design flowing. So I'm not just going to put them in a pile and just pick, but I'm going to add a little bit of, I want to really totally enjoy this. And I want to look at my design, feel really good about that, and then lay it out. And I may sew right off the bat. Well, we will be stitching tomorrow. So, anyway, with that, I hope that you have a beautiful day. Let me know if you have any questions on this project and or just come along with us and then try it out on your own after. So, with that, you have a beautiful day.